Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is a foundation review. Long awaited. I am so excited to finally have this video up. So this is the Lancome Taint Idol foundation stick. I did receive this a couple of videos ago in my influencer box and I'm finally getting around to reviewing it. Look at the quantity in this tube. I will just get that out of the way. It is a laughable amount, but this foundation does so damn well that it is worth every single one of those $43 you're supposed to spend on it. If you want to see how well it performs on my face for 18 solid hours, then keep watching. This is the packaging. It is plastic, which is a bit strange, but I'm not talking about the product. I just want to get it on my face. This is more or less the amount of product that comes because I have used it a few times, like more than a few times. So I am just going to swipe this all over. And I will go in on one side with my brush and the other side with my sponge, just so we can see the different type of coverage that one can get. And as you can see, I'm not going in with too many strokes. Like, they're not few, but they're not many. And it blends out so incredibly easily. Like, look at that. It's basically already done. It's insane. You don't feel anything on your brush whatsoever, which just, it blows my mind. Clearly, this isn't the first time I've used it, but we shall get into all of that. But as you can see, in just a few strokes, it's completely blended. It just disappears into my skin. I really love this foundation. So this is what it looks like on half my face. This is the side with foundation. And this is the side without foundation. So as you can see, it actually has covered up my spots. I mean, I can kind of see them here, but I don't know if they're coming through on the camera or not. But yeah, for the most part, everything is covered. I feel like on the first layer, it is medium coverage. Then if you go in with a few more swipes, like a couple more swipes, you will definitely get full coverage. And very easily, it feels so light on my skin. I don't really feel anything being there at all. So that's kind of insane. I am going in with kind of a bit more on this side just because the sponge does sheer it out, even though it is a stick foundation. But as you can see, it does blend in just as easily with the sponge. And I am completely obsessed with this. It blends in so quickly, so easily. I'm not even using the flat side on my sponge. And it's still going in so incredibly well. My spots are still covered, but I did go in with slightly more foundation, so that makes sense. And as you can see, I am already done. You don't actually feel it on the sponge or on the brush. Like the first time I used it, I thought I was like brushing the parts of my face that didn't have foundation on. And then I look and it's like all done. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you know? So it is very, very impressive. I love how natural it looks. It's already dried down to like a soft matte finish, as you can see. So very incredibly impressed. I think I will just add on another layer just to test how buildable it is and then go in all over my face with a brush. And as you can see, that took absolutely zero effort from me and it's already done. Like literally, my face looks absolutely perfect, but absolutely natural. And that's what I'm obsessed with, is how natural looking this is. It doesn't feel like there's anything on my face and it doesn't look like there's anything on my face. So I hope you can see that. It is now 9:29 that I have this all over my face. So my check-in time does begin now officially. Okay, so now we can actually talk about the product itself. This is clearly not the first time I used it, and I did want to try it out from like 8 in the morning because I have already done a 12-hour wear test of this and it performed so incredibly well that I kind of became skeptical of the results. I was like, maybe I'm just too sleepy to like see what's really happening on my face. So I really did want to test it out a second time because I wore it again the next day and it didn't do nearly as well as it did during the wear test. So I was like, I need to test this out one more time just to be absolutely sure. But yeah, basically to talk about the product, people have complained that this packaging feels a bit cheap and a bit like plasticky and flimsy. I do agree it's not like high-end packaging, but I don't really care about the packaging as long as the product itself is amazing. And this product has proven to be amazing. One thing I haven't mentioned at the beginning of the video, first of all, the shade that I have is 500 Suede W. In the beginning, like the first few times I wore it, I definitely thought it did oxidize and like become darker than the rest of me. But right now, so far so good. It's actually matching me pretty perfectly. The way that I test my foundation foundations is that I don't use a primer, I don't use a powder, I don't use a setting spray. I don't give them any other help because I want to see if this is worth the $43 that they charge you for this tiny little amount. I mean, this is my one complaint about this foundation, is that there's so little in the package. I think it's about 0.31 ounces, which is, I mean, that's 9 grams. That's insane. This is so little. But I have used it a few times because the first time I got it, it was above this line here. But as you can see now, it's almost gone under. But as you've seen, a little goes a really long way. And if this lasts the entire day without the need of like powders and setting sprays and all of these other things that just build up the cost of this product, then I definitely think it would be worth buying. My dry skin is kind of a perfect canvas for testing out foundations without needing to like aid them in any way, so I'm excited to see how well it actually performs. So I guess I'll just go do the rest of my face, and then I'll be back in a few hours just to check in, see how well it's holding up. If I have anything to report, I'll definitely come back sooner.
2,000 years later.
So I'm back for my first check-in, and it has been so long since I put this foundation on that it's kind of ridiculous that I'm coming back now. But honestly, the foundation has done absolutely nothing. Before I even tell you the time, like, can we just take a look at how good this foundation looks? Because I was supposed to just go off and do the rest of my face and then come back for a check-in maybe like an hour or two after. It is now 7:11 that I'm coming back in for my first check-in, but it is completely justified because, oh my gosh, look at how good this foundation looks. I have done absolutely nothing to my face. No powder, no setting spray, as I said before. I didn't even use concealer underneath my eyes to cover my bags, and I can see in the monitor they don't look like horrible, you know? And my eyes were tearing up during the day, so I was wiping around them. I was blowing my nose because, as I mentioned in the earlier clip, I do kind of have a cold, so my nose was running and I was blowing it a lot, which is the only reason you can see some foundation has faded here. I have eaten since putting on my lipstick, so that's why you can see the lipstick down here. But other than this slight fading in this area, but that's only because I was blowing my nose, so I was physically wiping that area, and I can see that foundation is kind of sparse around my mouth, and especially under this side because I did have to physically touch it as I was doing my eye and like wiping them down and whatever. So yeah, in those areas it has faded. And another thing that I've noticed is that on my forehead, where my hair keeps moving around, it is starting to fade, like you can see right there. It is starting to fade anywhere that has had like repeated contact on it. But I have been touching my face. I've been going about my day like normally. I have changed and unchanged like repeatedly, and look at how good this foundation looks. We're literally 10 hours into my having this foundation on my face, and look at how good it looks. Oh my goodness. At some point during the day, especially like maybe an hour after I put it on my face, it did look like my forehead was a bit powdery looking, so I was kind of getting worried at that point. But right now it looks absolutely fabulous. My entire face looks so good. Like overall, you can't even tell that like it's faded in some areas or like it started wiping off underneath this eye, especially because this one kind of still looks covered, but this one I know for a fact. I literally had my finger on it like this. I always come in for my check-ins wearing my spectacles, and I have been wearing my spectacles for 10 hours. Like literally as soon as we finished filming, I put them on. I have not taken them off. I have not fixed around my nose area, so you can definitely see where my nose pads were on my nose, but you can barely notice it. Like this isn't the kind of foundation like in all my other reviews where you put on your spectacles and you take them off and it kind of looks like you have some orbs happening on your nose. I mean, it's kind of blown my mind. I am so incredibly impressed. I mean, this is definitely something worth fixing, as you can see, but the fact that it even took me a second to remember that I was wearing spectacles, like, that's amazing. So I am completely impressed. All my products went on really, really well, but I did just do them like maybe an hour ago, so I can't really say that they haven't faded throughout the day, but considering that I didn't set it or anything, and this is a cream product, it dries down to this beautiful like sort of powdery soft glow finish that just, I don't know, everything just goes on really well on it. I have no powders on my face except for this tiny little bit of blush that you can see. That's the only powder product that I have. Everything else is like a cream contour or a liquid highlight, and I am extremely impressed. Before I forget to mention it, I did get this and a bunch of other LANCOME goodies free for testing from Influencer. So thank you again, Influencer. I will link that unboxing video up here, and I will link Influencer in the comments down below if you want to sign up with them. But yeah, you get to try amazing products, because I would have never for the life of me picked up a cream foundation stick. I was literally hoping to get the liquid one, but I'm so glad I got to test this one out because it is so worth getting, and I would have never known if it hadn't been for Influencer. So definitely sign up down below for you to get free products and get the opportunity to test out amazing things.
3:28 a.m.
So believe it or not, it is now 3:31 in the morning. I just happened to be awake at this time, and I decided to keep the foundation on for 18 solid hours just to see how well it does. Yes, my lipstick is all over the bottom of my lip because that's the fault of this lipstick. This is a Stila Stay All Day liquid lipstick, and it does transfer like crazy when I eat. But other than that, the foundation has not moved since my last check-in, which was at around 10 hours. So that was literally 8 hours ago, and look at how flawless my face still looks. I mean, the initial issues are definitely still there, but I still haven't blotted one time. I still haven't done anything. I mean, I am seeing that I am kind of starting to look a bit shiny now, but if at the 18-hour mark is when it starts to kind of approach shininess on my dry skin, that's amazing. That means even with oily skin, when you like powder it and whatever, and you wear it throughout like a normal day or even like a 15-hour day, you're still gonna look banging. I absolutely love this, and I do like a more glowy finish. So even with my face looking this sort of shiny, I'm completely okay with that. Like, I am extremely happy with this result. I did not fix the area around my mouth, so it is still faded in this section, especially in this area between the lipstick line and my lip. There is absolutely no foundation there, but that did wipe off as I was like blowing my nose and whatever earlier on in the day, so I have absolutely no complaints about that. Though it does say that it is untransferable, unsmudgeable on the website, so I guess we are seeing that it definitely does smudge. But one of the things that I didn't do earlier on in the day, and one thing that I do tend to have to do during all my other foundation reviews, is the blot test. So I'm excited to do that now. But I mean, even with my face looking like this, I feel like it's just a healthy glow. It's not like looking oily or greasy. And even with it looking like this, I still can't feel it on my face. I literally had to remind myself to not just go to bed, because you literally forget that there's something on your face, you know? So I am extremely impressed. And I did put all this product on my face at around the 7-hour mark. So it has held all this product on for more than 10 hours, and it's held it on absolutely beautifully. As you can see, my strobe is still very much there, my blush is there, my contour is still popping. So I am extremely impressed. I mean, I'm just gonna wipe off this lipstick from here because I didn't want to wipe it off before coming in, like for my check-in, and then like taking off more foundation. But now that we've seen that the foundation even on my chin is still holding up and not breaking up in any shape or form, especially like around my mouth, around my nose is where the breakup definitely starts happening like pretty quickly. That's the first sign of like the foundation getting tired of being on my skin, you know. But yeah, this one has done absolutely none of that. I am so incredibly impressed. As always, I was wearing my spectacles. I just keep forgetting to like come back on screen with them on, and I haven't touched up my nose. Even in my last check-in, I realized that I didn't actually like smudge out my nose. So this is what it looks like after having spectacles on my face for 18 solid hours without touching anything, without smudging anything, because even when I did leave the house, I just wore my shades, and so I didn't need to touch up anything at all. And look at how good my nose still looks. I mean, there is still that impression, which I didn't clear out like before, but I mean, I have no complaints. As you can see, there is a definite difference between the blotted side of my face and the unblotted side of my face. So it is starting to get a bit shiny, a bit oily, but I feel like I can still definitely leave the house in this and like go for a few more hours before I need to worry about it. But there is definitely some transfer on this tissue. I mean, it's not much, that's for sure, but it is there. So this non-smudging, non-transferring, like I'm not really believing that, though I am tempted to kind of just do this and see what happens. And yes, it is smudging on my fingers, so it will definitely smudge. The total amount of transfer, which considering it's coming off my entire face, that's really not much in the grand scheme of things. And because this foundation looked so natural to begin with, you can like, you can't really see that any amount of product has sort of been lifted off my face because everything still looks even and absolutely fabulous. So this is what it looks like when it's completely mattified, and I love this foundation. I feel like blotting it like this, it looks exactly the way it did when I first put on my foundation. And remember that we're getting this result with absolutely zero help. I had no primer on my face, no powder, no setting spray, no nothing, and it looks this flawless at 18 hours. It looks like you have absolutely nothing on your face, and it holds up so beautifully. Like 10 out of 10. This is my absolute favorite foundation, like, of all time, and I'm like on a foundation kick, so I'm constantly trying out new ones. I'll link my foundation playlist up here. Yes, it's on the left. I'll link it up here, just so you can watch it and see what other foundations I have tested, and absolutely none of them have done as well as this. And considering it is $43, I am holding it to a higher standard. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you found this helpful, informative. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below. I will be sure to get back to you. Check the description box for any pertinent details that I may not have mentioned in this video. And yeah, I'm definitely a big fan. I definitely recommend this. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe so you can see many more of my videos. Click the I up here just so you can see my other playlists, foundation playlist, liquid lipstick playlist, because those are the two things that I'm completely obsessed with. And yeah, subscribe so you see my next video, and I will see you in that one in the next video.